I welcome you all to this special session on Romania-India Economic Cooperation, Present and Future Perspectives, to be addressed by Her Excellency Mrs. Daniela Mariana Sezonov Tane, Ambassador of Romania to India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. On behalf of the members of one of the oldest and largest chambers of commerce in India, with more than 125 years of service, 124, I beg your pardon, I have immense pleasure in extending to Your Excellency a very warm and hearty welcome at Bharat Chamber once again. We have been privileged with her presence a couple of years back as well. I also take this opportunity to extend a very warm and hearty welcome to Mr. Yunut Marcia Vizuru, Minister, Councillor, Economic and Trade Office, Embassy of Romania in India, to our chamber once again. It is indeed a happy augury that yesterday the Honorary Consulate of Romania in Kolkata was inaugurated. May I take this opportunity to congratulate our former president, Mr. Shivkumar Agarwala, on being appointed as the Honorary Consul of Romania in Kolkata for West Bengal and Northeastern states. The opening of the consulate in this part of the country marks the beginning of a new chapter in the India Romania economic cooperation. I am confident that the consulate, under the stewardship of Mr. Agarwala, will serve as a facilitator in establishing people to people connection between Romania and Eastern India, West Bengal in particular. We extend our full support to Mr. Agarwala. And just before we came here for this meeting, got an insight the kind of relationships that Mr. Agarwala has had for 2 decades with more than 2 decades with Romania. They could not have been better person, I believe, to represent and Romania in Kolkata. Yeah. Uh, India established its ties with Romania in 1948, and since then it has maintained friendly and cordial relations which culminated in the celebration of 75 years of diplomatic ties last year. Both countries have supported each other on multilateral issues and have been working closely at the United Nations. Last month, during her visit to India, Ms. Luminita Odobescu, the foreign minister of Romania, emphasized that India is an essential partner of Romania in the South Asian region, both bilaterally as well as within the framework of the EU-India strategic partnership. Besides the joint declaration issued to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the extensive partnership between Romania and India, emphasize, this emphasized and enhanced economic cooperation in a number of sectors like energy, IT, communication, and defense. We are happy that India is Romania's second largest trading partner in the Asia Pacific region, surpassing USD 1.6 billion last year, covering a diverse range of products. While India's top exports to Romania include mineral and chemical products, plastics and plastic articles, metals, textiles and garments, pharmaceuticals, tractors, agricultural equipment, machinery, electrical equipment, etc., India's imports from Romania include automotive components, machinery, electricals, IT components, metals, fuels, minerals, and chemicals as well. I firmly believe that the EU-India trade agreement, which is in the final stages of discussion, would considerably expand horizons of bilateral trade with Romania because Romania is an important facilitator for developing compatible policies between India and the European Union. The agreement will definitely have a positive impact on bilateral relations and develop more synergies in the new partnership. I would request Your Excellency to share your thoughts in this regard. Similarly, bilateral investments between both nations are on a positive growth trajectory. There are as many as 570 Indian companies or Romanian Indian joint ventures registered in Romania with a total investment of USD 1.15 billion. In order to further attract Indian investments, Romania has recently offered cashback incentives to Indian companies from its 90 billion euro corpus to invest in the country till 2027. This is indeed a matter of great encouragement to Indian businesses who are seeking to expand in Europe. I would request Your Excellency to throw further light on the business incentives to attract Indian investments. Romania is actively engaged in reducing its carbon footprints and working towards promotion of green energy. Last year, the country has joined the International Solar Alliance to boost its solar energy adoption. In this regard, I solicit the valuable views of Your Excellency on the opportunities of partnership in promoting green energy technologies of Romania, particularly in Eastern India. India's relationship with Romania is not only based on economic cooperation, but also on cultural exchanges. And I must add here that you'll be surprised to know the knowledge of Her Excellency of Hindi. She speaks Hindi as almost like you and me, you know. Yeah. So that will be that's a wonderful experience I just now had. I have been informed that as many as 1,500 work visas are issued to Indians by your embassy every year. In this regard, soft skills and language training for students and young professionals interested to go to Romania and academic cooperation between the universities in Romania and Eastern India could be a big step forward in leveraging people to people ties. Ma'am, Bharat Chamber could play a proactive role in this endeavor. In the area of defense cooperation, last year, India and Romania signed a pact on defense to promote mutual cooperation, including co development and co production of military hardware. In this context, I am delighted to inform you that the Chamber's Defense Sector Facilitation Center, under the guidance of the Department of Defense Production, Ministry of Defense, Government of India, has been actively working in promoting indigenization of defense amongst MSMEs. I would request Your Excellency to kindly share your thoughts on the possible partnerships between Indian companies and Romanian OEM in defense. The Ministries of Tourism of India and Romania signed an MOU in 2018 to increase movement of tourists from both sides. Romania, with its diverse geographical features, offering fascinating vistas, is a preferred destination for Indian filmmakers. I feel that this area is yet to be explored fully by Kolkata, whereas across India, about 80 films I have been told have been made in Romania. Now, in Kolkata, which has one of the oldest regional film industries in India, so our region should also make use of this. Before I conclude, Your Excellency, I feel that the chambers of commerce play a key role in strengthening business relations between two countries. As as Eastern India and West Bengal hold potential for business collaborations between the two countries, Bharat Chamber will be keen to partner with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania to promote business between Romania and this region more enthusiastically, including entering into an MOU with them. May I request Your Excellency to extend your kind support in this endeavor of ours. With these words, I wish to conclude my address and request Mr. Shiv Kumar Agarwala to kindly share his observations. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Your Excellency, Mrs. Daniela Sejino Tane, Mr. Enid Mircea Vijiru, Mr. Naresh Pasisia, Vice President, Vice Chamber of Commerce, members of the Chamber, and guests and friends. I consider it to be a great privilege to me to make a few observations at this special session on Romania-India economic cooperation, present and future perspectives this afternoon. Yesterday, I have taken over as the Honorary Consul of Romania and Calcutta, as just now Mr. Pasisia informed, for the West Bengal and northeastern states of India, and I'm hopeful that new and unexplored avenues of cooperation and interest for the trade and industry for both countries will emerge. In this regard, I will be pleased to offer my support for expanding the origins of bilateral trade between Romania and the part of our country. The bilateral relations between India and Romania have stayed free of direct political issues and have continued to benefit from the decade-long developments. Trade has always been a major driver in the thriving relationship that India shares with Romania. Based on some of the new areas of cooperation like IT, agriculture, science, technology, and latest on the defense, Romania has the potential to contribute to India's thrust on developing a world-class and advanced infrastructure. Considering the huge opportunities in various sectors of both economies, I am sure a lot of members will be interested to establish links with their counterparts in Romania. In this regard, I would request interested members to kindly reach out to my consulate office, and I will try to give as much as cooperation and the information as required. Our chamber is actively engaged in the defense sector, working closely with the Department of Defense Production, Government of India. In fact, we have a special desk here to felicitate the for the defense equipments, defense components, yeah,
Particularly MSMEs.
particularly MSMEs. Through them, I would request Mr. Ionut Vijuru, Minister, Consular Economic and Trade Office, to forward any information relating to defense exports directly to our chamber so that it can be disseminated and among our members. The chamber will provide the necessary facilitation service in this regard. I am happy to share that chamber has already been working in the northeastern states for the promotion of trade and business, and I am confident that chamber would act as a catalyst in strengthening bilateral partnership in trade and investment further in the northeast through my office. In fact, I would also suggest, as Mr. Prasisia has just told, why don't we get a delegation from the Bharat Chamber of Commerce to Romania? That will be a very good thing. With these words, may I now request Your Excellency to kindly address the members of today's session. Thank you.
Could be Onuts and me. No? You first or me? You can start. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm very honored to be here the second time. I and Her Excellency, we've been here in 2022. We had also a workshop about Romania-India economic cooperation. And we are happy to be back here. I want to thank you, our host, Bharat Chamber, and also our newly nominated honorary counsel, Mr. Agarwala. So we are here for a workshop about Romania-India economic cooperation. So let me tell you a bit about Romania, so you'll have an idea about the macroeconomic of the country. Like this, you will understand a bit more what is happening in that part of the world and why we should make more efforts to boost our bilateral relations. There is a PowerPoint presentation, so you'll have a more visual on the figures, which I will tell you. Right. Yes. So Romania, it's in Europe. It's part of the first slide, please. Yes. So it's part of the European Union since 2007. It's a membership of NATO since 2004. Romania, its capital, it's Bucharest, 2 million people. Romania has, well, now it's 19 million people living in Romania, but overall there are like 22 million Romanian people. 3 millions are outside the country. In terms of GDP, you'll see in 2022 almost 300 billion euro, and the GDP growth was 4.7%. Next slide. In terms of connectivity, because it's quite important, Romania can be used like a gateway to European market. I will mention the port of Constanța, which is the port at the Black Sea. Is the largest and deepest port in on the Black Sea side, and it creates a good competitive advantage for vessels to come to Constanța instead to go to Rotterdam. And Constanța, it's linked by the river Danube, which on the river you can move your merchandise towards the Western Europe. The Danube River comes from the spring. It's in Germany. It crosses several countries. So it's Germany, Austria, Czechia, Bulgaria, Hungary. So it's a good way of connectivity. Next slide, please. In terms of economic and the macroeconomic of Romania, we see in 2022, as I mentioned, was a 4.7% growth, which for European Union and Europe in general, it's one of the highest growing market. 2023, it was a bit of slowdown. It's a 2% growth. Because as you probably know, the whole Europe entered a bit in a slowing economic growth, but still for Europe, 2% it's quite a good figure. The estimation for the next year, 2024, it's for 3.4%. Next slide. In terms of inflation and unemployment, you'll see that in 2022, it was a bit of skyrocketing, 13.8% inflation. I have to mention here why. Well, it's quite obvious. It was the starting of the war in Ukraine, which has affected the whole Europe and the whole procurement chain. So it creates quite a pressure on energy and on supply of agriculture products. We see now in 2023, the situation, it's a bit better. 10.5%, and it's expected to decrease to 6% for the next year. Unemployment rate, it's almost the same for the last few years, 5.6%, 2021, 2022, and it's same for 2023, 5.5. Next slide. In terms of wage, Romanian, it's quite competitive. That's why we attract a lot of European companies and American companies with investments, because it's still a competitive economy, and the wages are not so high, so the companies are quite mm, let's say happy to be there. And if you compare with some other countries, you'll see, so Romania has 606 euro per month, and the highest it's Luxembourg with more than 2.8 to 2,800. 400, yeah. Next slide. In terms of investments and foreign direct investments flow in 2022, we register one of the highest figure, 10 billion euros. And if we take it in the investment stock from 2003 to 2023, we reached to 107.9 billion euro. So Romania, it's ranked 6 by FDI inward and 16 by FDI stock among the EU countries. Yeah, next slide. Here it's the sectors which have attracted the biggest investments in Romania. So the manufacturing, it's attracting most of it with 32.5% with 30.2% of total FDI, followed by construction and real estate, followed by trade, financial and insurance, and then electricity, gas and water supply, and IT&C. If we have a look at manufacturing, which is divided by transport equipment, have attracted 22.1%, then oil processing, chemical, 21.1%, and food and beverage and tobacco, 12.2%. Next slide, please. In terms of talent pool, you'll see Bucharest, which is the capital of Romania. We have the Bucharest has 30 universities, followed by Cluj-Napoca. It's another university city with 9 universities, followed by Iași and so on. Next, please. Yeah, next slide, please. This can be useful for the foreign companies and for Indians, knowing that in Romania, almost 90% of the people, they are quite fluent in English. And then 26% it's French, 17 Spanish, 8% German, and 5% Italian. Next, please. These are a bit of, let's say, a competitive market analysis. Romania, it's placed it second in the EU market with the labor cost. One of the most competitive labor force in the EU, 9.5 euro per hour. The natural gas price, let's say it's still competitive. Romania has resources. It's one of the few European countries which has its own resources in gas. We are not depending, and we have not been depending on imports from Russia. We have gas and oil in our reserves. Yeah, next please. Here we have compare few cities with Bucharest. So you will see that in terms of value for money, Bucharest, it's more attractive than cities like Berlin or London or Paris. So let's say for 100 euros, what you do in Bucharest, what you will get in terms of good of the basket. You'll have to spend in Berlin 156 euros, in London even more. Next, please. Yeah, these are, yes. For the tax system, it's also quite attractive for companies which are based in Romania. So there is the employee and employer. I have to mention the corporate income tax, which is a flat one, doesn't fluctuate on the turnover. It's 16%, which is one of the lowest in Europe. And then, yeah, the VIT, the standard VIT, it's 19%. But for few products, which from the food sector, the VIT, it's actually zero. The employee has to pay 10% income tax from their salary, and 35% for social security. We still have social security, which means the health and the retirement. So everybody who retires will get a pension after monthly, after retirement. Yes, next please. Here you have a comparative tax figures with the other EU countries. You see 16, it's quite low, the corporate tax. The VAT, it's one of the lowest with 19. And the dividend tax, it's 8%, which also, again, it's very low compared with some other European countries. Next, please. What is quite interesting for companies who wants to settle an office in Romania, it's the state aid, which they can have from the state. It's a total budget for 2022-2027 for 300 million euro. So if you have a minimum investment of 3 million euro, you can benefit of lot of incentives from the state, starting with some taxes and salaries to paying for the what you create new when you create new jobs. And also here I can mention that if a company is registered in Romania, they can apply for European Union funds, which are also non-returnable. Yes, next please. These are the percentage. Obviously, if you go in some area which are not so popular, then you'll get more incentives from the state and from the local municipality, you know, to have more attractiveness to be settled there. And yeah, if you go to Bucharest or some big city, obviously the intensity, the incentives will be lower. Next. We have many industrial parks. Next, please. Here we took one of the three main sectors of Romania: automotive, IT&C, and aerospace. The automotive, you'll see the industry size is 31 billion euro. The IT&C, it's 15.8 billion, and aerospace, almost 700 million euro. There are some big and multinational companies in each sectors, which are there in Romania with offices and branches and representatives. Next, please. Already has here has mentioned about the bilateral trade India-Romania. We are pleased to notice an increase for the last 3-4 years. We cross this year 1.7 billion, which it's a record in our history. We export from Romania around 350 million euro, and we import from India 1.4 billion. So you see that it's a trade balancing advantage of India, but yeah, hopefully we'll try to balance it. Next, please. You'll see the structure of the bilateral commerce. From Romanian side, the 41.5% of the exports are machineries, equipment, and mechanical device, followed by 21.2% vegetable oils, which is quite a new entry in our bilateral exchange. Mostly it's sunflower oil. Then instruments and optical equipment represent 10.4% of our exports. Mineral products 6.4%, base metals 5.8%, plastic and rubber products 4.7%, textiles 2.1%, and wood and coal 1.1%. And we import from India. It's quite interesting. The main imports, the chapter, it's on mineral products, so which are mostly petrol, oil. You'll see almost 60% of the Indian exports to Romania, it's 60%, it's mineral oil. Followed by, yes, machineries, 9.8%, base metals, 7.5%, textiles, 5.7%, chemical products, 4.5%, and so on. Next, please. So, as Mr. Pachisa mentioned about the investments, we are happy with investments from India to Romania. For now, there are 483 companies with joint venture and or representative or branches in Romania. The 42.1 million, it's the capital of the companies settled there. This is like an official figure, but as it has been mentioned, the investments, because usually what happens, the big companies doesn't do direct investments from India. They have several branches in different countries, so they are doing investments from that side, or they can get some mutual fund investments, and then it's not reflected like it comes from India, but there are Indian investments. So we figure out that almost 2 billion US dollars investments came from India, from Indian companies. Now, so the ranking, it's the 47th. Yes. Next. So that's it for now. We are here. We can answer few questions. if there are. And I hope you have a bit of more knowledge about Romania and the how it's doing in terms of economy. Thank you.
Thank you. Quite informative and encouraging. Your Excellency, your address now.
Namaste. Honorable Senior Vice President of the Chamber, Honorable Vice President, Honorable Honorary Consul of Romania to West Bengal and the Northeastern states, dear participants. I'm very pleased and honored to address again the second time here in the headquarters of Bharat Chamber of Commerce. I unfortunately half of my speech was was what half of what I wanted to present to you was already mentioned by Mr. Paxia. I will try just to figure out the main few main events that happen in our bilateral relations, and then with emphasis on the economical aspects. Of course, I mean, you know now that politics it's important, but economics is more important. So a relationship growth, the economic growth will be reflected in the better in a political area by an enhanced partnership. You see this of India with many very developed countries. So we hope that with this trend, positive trend in our economic bilateral relations to have to be reflected better in a political level, meaning more visits on both sides from ministers, prime ministers, foreign ministers, and so on. So last year, as you have seen, we issued a magazine to celebrate 75 to celebrate 75 years of our diplomatic relations. We also celebrated 10 years since the establishment of the since the signing of an extended partnership agreement. And during these 75 years, we developed a solid relationship based on mutual respect and interest. On the intergovernmental relation, I would like to mention at least three important events that took part last year. I will repeat a bit what Mr. Paxia said. So a very important point was signing the bilateral agreement on defense. It took us 11 years to negotiate it, so you can imagine. So we signed it last year in March during the visit to India of the Deputy Minister of Defense. This agreement paved the way for a better and broader cooperation in the field of defense cooperation and defense industry. This year, we are going to have, based on this agreement, we are going to have, end of this month, the first joint military committee in Bucharest. And in May, we have the biggest military exhibition in Romania, BSDA, Black Sea Defense and Aerospace exhibition. And India will participate with the National Pavilion. It's the first time that India decided to take part at this level in this exhibition. And we hope to have after this exhibition to have also a joint reunion between the defense industry, the representative of defense industries from Romania and from India. So it is on in the making. Last year we had at the political level the visit of the Secretary West from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Romania in June for bilateral talks, and it was followed this year by the visit of our foreign minister in India. She came for Resina Dialogue. On this occasion, we signed a joint anniversary declaration that you also mentioned. What is important in this document? It's a shorter document than that extended partnership, but it it puts the accent on three areas of cooperation between, three main areas of cooperation between India and Romania. And these are energy, the field of energy, the field of the manufacturing industry, which is a very broad area. So here we can try to work out together how to improve our cooperation in this field, and IT&C. We have in the pipeline few more agreements to be signed. It's one cybersecurity agreement between the ICI, the Institute of IT, and how do you translate ICI? ICI, Institute and IT and Communication from Bucharest, and a Hyderabad Center for Cybersecurity. We have an MOU, a program of cooperation in research and innovation, which has to, it's ready to be signed between our ministries of research and science and technology. And also we have in the pipeline, but it's not finalized, an MOU in the field of health. So all those areas are good areas in which we can also bring the businesses to cooperate. And also what we are aiming is to open direct flights between Romania and India. We don't have, unfortunately, there are a lot of countries which have direct flights with India. I've seen all the, for example, you have all the Central Asian countries. You have Georgia, you have from our neighborhood, many countries. Azerbaijan, yeah. I mean, all of them have direct flights. So me and Ionuț, we were working on that. We need to revise our air transportation agreement. We spoke with Indigo. We should probably speak also with Air India, with Tata, to try to, because Romania, it's a hub for the Central Europe, and the direct flight would represent a really big step forward. And also because we are importing a lot of workforce from India, from Nepal, and from Bangladesh. It's the numbers are growing yearly. The Romanian government had last year 100,000 workplaces granted for non-EU workers from non-EU countries, and this year is 140,000. 300,000? Okay, so I'm wrong. I'm not updated. Those 300,000. This workforce has to. I mean, it would be much better if we had a direct flight connection, even for everything, for business, for everyone. Yeah. So maybe we can work together on this. What else? Yes. So we would really like to took part in this the indigenization process of Indian defense. I mean, it's clear, we are aware that a contract with India would mean a lot for small companies. We have small companies in defense industry comparing with India's needs, but maybe we find some complementarities and we will be able to do something together. So this is a little bit our reflection, how we think, which are the areas in which we can go on further to develop our relations. Otherwise, I will just briefly mention the main Indian companies which have been involved in cooperation or investment projects in Romania. In the pharmaceutical industry, Sun Pharma in Cluj, so in Transylvania, chemical industry, Gujarat Heavy Chemicals, real estate sector, Asmita Constructions, metallurgical industry, ArcelorMittal, that took over the steel plant in Galați and other factories your factories in Hunedoara, IT&C, Wipro, Tata Consultancy, Infosys, Hexaware Technology, Interglobe Technology, VNS Global Services, Genpact. Distribution of medical products, Cadila Pharmaceutics, and Torrent Pharma. And last but not least, I would like to mention the cultural side, because it's important. People-to-people contact and cultural contacts are growing, and it means we are getting more and more Indian programs in Romania organized by Indian Embassy, but we also try to get more programs here in India. So we just had the in Delhi Festival of Romanian Movie, and we presented. We are currently presenting a tour of Romanian Indo-Romanian group. You have a Romanian artist which is vocal and playing pan flute. She's playing old folkloric music with Indian artists which are playing in bansuri and tabla. So it's a joint fusion. It's more than fusion. It's called soul. And why soul? Because they managed to put together what the best in what the best has the Romanian soul with what is the best in the Indian soul. So I think it's a very beautiful experience. I came from Pondicherry where we presented the concert together with Alliance Française, and it will be presented today in Alliance Française. And I think we should have uh, more exercises like this. And this the month of March, we had here a Romanian professor and the writer who made several presentations about the life and work of Amita Bose, which was my teacher of Sanskrit. And I started learning a little bit of Bengali with her, but I gave up because Hindi and Bengali in the same time was not possible. But Amita was the only Indian translator from Romanian. So she translated from the Romanian national poet Mihai Eminescu in Bengali. And she had her PhD in the work of Mihai Eminescu. And it is because of her that I decided to learn Hindi. So, yeah, I think we don't have to forget culture. We have to encourage the cultural contacts, and our honorary consul is very helpful in this regard. And we hope to have more concerts and more cultural contacts in the future. And I also, while I was listening to you, I was thinking maybe we can also try to develop something with the northeastern states. I never been there. I don't think any ambassador of Romania been there. If there are some potential opportunities of cooperation, maybe we can find 1, 2 programs that we can develop with the northeastern states. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your address, and Mr. Garwala and Mr. Vizuru um, uh, Mr. Garwala for the encouragement you have given for thinking of having a business delegation from Bharat Chamber to Romania. Certainly, we should work upon this. And Your Excellency, you mentioned about the defense exhibition in Romania. If the details are shared, we will certainly try and promote this amongst our members related with the industry, and certainly take it forward. And thank you for your informative this thing. With this, can I now open the house for questions from members? B? Yes, please. Please introduce yourself with the industry that you are from, and of course, try to be brief, everybody, so that we can have more questions. Thank you.
I am Professor Devnarayan Bandapadhyay from Swami Vivekananda University. I have a very small question. Actually, I had been to Romania very briefly to University of Bucharest, and that was long ago. And therefore, I was just thinking, if we can renew our thinking in terms of cultural and public diplomacy in the sector of education. So, because we have always been thinking about the mobility of staff and student exchange in different universities. We have just heard that there are 30 universities in Romania, and I have already been in touch with with the University of Bucharest, especially Professor Dragos Ivona of English department, and Professor Luminia Mantanu. She is the director of the Department of Oriental Languages and Literature. And I have also read in the newspaper that the Indian embassy over there have started a Tagore Center, Rabindranath Tagore Center of cultural activities or something like that. Is it still working or? Yes, yes.
Sorry. Tagore Cultural Center exists, and the concert of this afternoon is also brought by them
Okay.
with their support.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Now,
it
in
exists.
our university, we have a Center for Tagore Studies. So I was just thinking if a kind of collaboration can be established between these two in terms of Romanian universities. And I have also read about the ITEC scheme, through which the Romanian students could come to India and they could have trainings in technology and other aspects. So that's why if that is also still in place, that is what I wanted to know. And also there are ICSSR scholarships for Romanian students. So if we can establish or initiate some kind of exchange program between the Romanian universities and our university. And let me assure you that our university is very, very much supportive of welcoming the Romanian scholars to our university. And we will support the finance and all that, their accommodation. So that will be discussed later on, taken up later on. But if something can be initiated in this regard.
It's up to you. This thing, the understandings between universities, they can be done by themselves. In Romania, there is autonomy of
Yes.
the university autonomy. We have the University Babeș-Bolyai
Yes.
from Cluj, which established MOUs with Delhi University and with Kolkata University
Right,
2 years ago. It's totally up
Yes.
to you. I don't have to do anything about it. You contact the
You know,
university you want
if we
to.
can get some guidance in terms of how we can proceed, we can write to them.
Yes, I mean, normal, I mean, it is totally between you and the university. You write to them and you express your interest, and
Okay.
it's, I mean, you can put us in copy,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
for those understandings, for those MOUs that were done by Babeș-Bolyai, it was, we
Yes.
didn't have any involvement.
Yes.
I mean, it was a direct understanding between the universities.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Please. Yes, Mr. Satyam Agarwala.
Hello, Your Excellency. Last year, there was a Romania and India trade conference held in Kochi in Kerala in October. Maybe now we could have one in Calcutta also. You could explore the possibility, and Bharat Chamber could really give all their help in this regard.
Yeah. So actually in Kochi, it was also a workshop. We didn't have a Romanian delegation like business people. Yeah, it was myself and the ambassador. Also, we had a seminar there. But this idea to have a business delegation to India and especially to Kolkata, it's wonderful. I mean, we are encouraging our Chamber of Commerce from Romania, and we have 47 counties. Each counties has their own chamber. Like you have here the state, we have there the counties, and each counties have their chamber, and the member of the chambers are the business people. So we encourage them to come to India to present their knowledge, their products, their service, what they are interested in. And for sure, if whenever we'll have a new business delegation, we will try now to make them come here, because in the end, it's about B2B, business to business. So the business people has to meet, to agree, to form a partnership, joint venture. So we will for sure try to bring them here. now that we have also a honorary consul official, would be more easy, and obviously we know that Bharat Chamber, it's supporting that.
Mr.
I
Budia.
am H.P. Budia, belonging to engineering and plastic industry and member of the chamber. Well, it's a, great opportunity for both the countries that now having the office here in Calcutta also, we can definitely develop and strengthen more and more the relationship between the countries. Now, India at the moment is at the takeoff stage. Lot of infrastructure activities are happening. And you must be aware of the GDP and growth, data. India is on the top at the moment. While other countries are suffering, India is progressing. Of course, after the election only, we will definitely know more that what is going to be the status and policies of the new government. But it is going to be more or less on the same sort of the structure what it exists today. Lucky we are, ki ma'am, you are here, which is so much acquainted already about India, and you are, having a sort of attitude and taste of, Veda and all that sort of, and knowing Hindi very well. So, in one way, between the two countries, that is a very favorable factor. At the same time, now having Mr. Agarwal as the consulate, who has the industry in Romania also, between the two countries, what else can happen? He can be the best judge, and that way he can guide to, interested members to develop it further. Cultural relation, what you have said, is very, very important. And the delegation, another friend of mine, Mr. Agarwal, at Goenka, he took us to Poland as a delegation. And there, we were the state guest. And there, then we could be shown, what is happening and what can happen more. So that can also be another factor, that has to be taken care of. Now, very rightly you have said that number of persons from Bangladesh and India as the workmen or whatsoever is to a very high sort of the numbers. For that, the direct flight from here is very, very much needed. And for that, from your side also, effort should be made from both the governments, and here from our chamber, we will also emphasize on that how soon it can be achieved. Because nowadays, the way the communication is, I think that will definitely be favorably considered by the Indian government as well. I can only thank you for your second visit, and definitely we hope it will strengthen more and more for future. Thank you.
So much, Mr. Budhia, for your encouraging remarks, and I'm sure with the presence of Mr. Agarwala now, and with so much of involvement of Her Excellency, I'm sure we'll have a very proactive approach to actually building up this relationship, business to business relationships through delegations, through various other means, chamber partnerships, to be able to promote the businesses between the two countries. Anyone more last question? Anybody? Yes, please.
Hi, very good evening, and thank you so much for all your time, Your Excellency, and everybody else. This is Billy Bose. I happen to be a committee member of the chamber. First of all, I've been pretty closely associated with your neighboring country, that's Slovakia. My father has been the honorary consul of Slovakia, and I was the secretary So I know a bit about the region. So my question today is, Romania, what I read from the entire presentation, Romania is the largest producer of electronics in Central and Eastern Europe. And over the past 20 years, it has grown into a major center for mobile technology, information security, and related hardware research. India is also aiming to become a global hub for electronic system design and manufacturing by creating an enabling environment for the industry to compete globally. In this context, I would request Your Excellency to outline the key areas of mutual cooperation between India and Romania, please.
What was your question on the last you mentioned?
It would basically, sir, an association between the two countries, the mutual cooperation, for us to also develop in the mobile technology, information security, and the related hardware research. So what are the association we can have between the two countries?
So this is what we have been.
So actually, we have mentioned that in the extended partnership that we have with India, and which has been renewed this year. We have celebrated 10 years of this partnership. It has there are mentioned three sectors: IT&C, energy, and manufacturing. So on this manufacturing also, it's a broad sector in industry. We are trying to concentrate on these sectors: energy, mostly renewable, solar and wind. Components can come from Romania. Actually, what we are trying to convince the Romanian companies, because as you've seen, the trade, it's doing quite well. The relation, the exports imports has increased, but what we want to do is to have Romanian companies present in India with a manufacturing unit, with some investment, with a joint venture. So this we are trying to sell the Indian market to the Romanian companies, to come out a bit of their comfort zone, because if it's not Europe, it's a bit out of their comfort zone. But for now, India, it's the place to be, and to think about it, where to to expand your business. So that's what we are trying to do, to convince the Romanian companies to be present here in India. In terms of IT&C, both countries are quite doing very well. Romania has a very good skills in IT. In Silicon Valley, if you go, most of the companies, the second language speaking there, besides English, is Romanian, because there are many Romanians there. So I think, yeah, IT&C, it's definitely one of the sector which we can cooperate more. And let's see what
Can we know how exchange between Romania and India?
Yeah.
I mean, we manufacture here, and you can bring in the ideas as to how we can
Yeah.
manufacture.
Right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think a beginning has been made, and with Mr. Agarwal's presence, perhaps you will get a
Yeah,
better
absolutely.
guidance
We'll
going
be in
forward
touch.
on this.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions,
Yeah,
please?
so-
Yeah. Yeah.
In the energy field, we are trying to build up a cooperation on renewables. And this week, I just received, I even didn't tell you, no, it's yesterday, but I didn't have time to look into it. I received a strategy from the Ministry of Energy to implement the newly signed the joint declaration, which has a big part on energy. So probably we will figure out some more some areas in which we can cooperate, especially in the green hydrogen and renewable and renewables, solar energy. Also, I mean, joining International Solar Alliance is a very important step. We are now a full member. So these are some also some good points for future development.
Thank you.
Uh,
Please.
Good evening, sir, ma'am. I'm Dr. Shubhra Kule. I'm representing Calcutta Custom Housing Associations. My just Mrs. suggestions.
From which sector are you? Sir?
I am from the logistics sector, customs
Logistics.
broker.
Okay.
I'm just requesting, ma'am, the what about that we are talking about the import exports procedures, how to we can develop the whole process. But I just want to know how we will improve our means tourism sectors. This is also good, I think, and how the people of India, means especially in Calcutta, know about the Romanian language, because language is also a very important part if you want to set up any business of there. So regional language you should know, because if you anyone come to the India, they should know the English and as well as the Hindi. So for us also, how we know that Romanian language and how we will improve our tourism sectors.
Yeah. We have a chair of Romanian at the University of Delhi. It was reopened recently. We have a teacher which is doing it's a course, optional course. So people who want to join from other universities, from other, no, it's not, you don't need to study languages. You just can join the course. And I proposed, but I don't know if it is feasible. I just proposed because of this, the visit of Carmen Mushat in Kolkata 1 month. In 1 month, she taught online last year for 3 months, optional. I mean, it was a course online of Romanian language, and she had about 20-30 students. And there was a request, so I proposed to open a chair of Romanian here as well, because of the interest manifested in Romanian language. But I don't know if the Romanian Language Institute will be able to allocate another lectureship in Kolkata, but I proposed it.
To add, as far as tourism is concerned in Romania, as he had mentioned, most of the Romanians speak English, they understand English, so that will not be a taboo as such. One last question, please. Anybody
Excuse
else?
me, this side. Myself, Akshay Binjrajka. I'm the chairman of Toy Subcommittee, Bharat Chamber of Commerce. So, good evening, everyone. While I was in car, I was reading about you, and it was mentioned that the Indian government funded to you for understanding the Hindi literature. I think the Kendriya Sansthan. Yeah. So I just wanted to ask two small questions. One was non business question, that was after knowing Hindi, how you are checking out the India, like before knowing Hindi and after knowing Hindi, is there is any change or the same India you are looking for? And the second question is, as we are totally in toy industry, and as per my reading, Europe is totally importing maximum toys they are importing from China. In that scenario, what Indian toy industry can contribute in terms of export as well as in the production? Because I saw many Indian manufacturers, they are looking for Europe for the quality toy manufacturing, but they don't have the guidance for it. So I'll just request for that, if any kind of a special treatment can be given to the toy manufacturer. And I saw on the PPT that is worth 3 million and something like that. So it won't be, funding won't be a problem, but if there is any guidance, the toy manufacturer definitely can set up a industry out there. Thank
I
you.
will ask first, I will reply the
Your
Hindi
Excellency,
question, and
I-
then he
yeah.
can.
I'll give a more background to this. What he has spoken
Okay,
is that in the last few years, the Indian toy manufacturing industry has grown up exponentially. Today, most of the toys being used in India are manufactured within India. Okay, and that's a huge explosion. And the entrepreneurs like Mr. Akshay has actually taken this forward. It's a lot of it is mostly it is in MSME sector, and Kolkata is a growing center for it, and he represents that industry very well. So a very active cooperation actually can happen on this front. And now, of course, you can respond to that. I just thought I'll set the background for you.
Yeah, regarding Hindi, every language gives you a deeper insight in the country, in a country. Of course, it changed. I mean, I got a scholarship from Indian government in 92. I came here. I learned Hindi. मैंने रोमानिया में सीखा लिखना पढ़ने के लिए सीखने लेकिन बात नहीं किया जब मैं यहाँ आई थी तो शुरू किया बातचीत शुरू किया है थोड़ा मुश्किल था लेकिन बातचीत शुरू किया. So it's very important. You are a different person. I mean, I feel a different when I speak Hindi than I feel different when I speak French, for example, and English. Every language gives you an insight in a culture and gets you closer to the people. If you go to France and if you speak French, people will be very happy. They will not be happy if you don't speak French. So it's the same everywhere. It opens you new ways of understanding of a country and of its people. This is what the language knowledge does. I will let Yunus to answer about the toy thing because I don't know.
Yeah, well, the investments, it's not about a specific sector. It's about creating jobs and settle a manufacturing unit, which can be also toy. So if you want to expand into Europe, my suggestion would be that you'll have a production unit somewhere in Europe. So you can be more competitive with the Chinese toys. And Romania could be one of the choice to settle manufacturing there. And from there, you have a 450 million people market, which is the European Union market, and which it's in terms of consumption and the level, it's quite high. So if you'll have a 3 million investment in Romania, we can help you with some incentives, where to put your factory, where to locate it. And you'll have the benefit that you can export all your products into the EU market without any customs, and the connectivities from Romania to all the other European countries. It's very, very easy. Yeah. I know about the growing production and sector of toys. I had a meeting also with the Association of Toys in Delhi last year. So if you are interested in European market, my suggestion would be to think about an investment.
Mr. Agarwala, I think the traction for the delegation is already building up. Thank you, Akshay, for your. So, with these words, can I now invite our Vice President, Mr. Rajkumar Agarwal, to deliver a vote of thanks, please?
Her Excellency Mrs. Tani, Mr. Viziru, Mr. Agarwala, members of the chamber, guests and friends. At the very end of this special session on Romania-India Economic Cooperation, Present and Future Perspective, it is indeed my most pleasant duty to propose a hearty vote of thanks to our guest-in-chief, Her Excellency Mrs. Daniela Mariana Sejanov Tane, Ambassador of Romania to India, Nepal, and Bangladesh, for sparing some of her valuable time to address the members of our chamber. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to Mr. Ionut Vizuru, Minister Consular, Economic and Trade Office, Embassy of Romania in India, for his enlightening presentation. highlighting the business opportunities in Romania that could be explored by our members. Friends, it is indeed a happy augury that bilateral relations between India and Romania are expanding rapidly. I am confident that in the coming years, enhanced political cooperation and periodic consultations between the governments of the two countries will take forward cooperation in the field of emerging industries and take full advantage of the multiple investment opportunities in both our countries. I would like to thank Mr. S.K. Agarwala, Honorary Consul of Romania in Calcutta, for West Bengal and Northeastern states, and distinguished former president of our chamber for his support in organizing this session successfully. With these words, I now request all of you to join me in carrying a hearty vote of thanks to Her Excellency Mrs. Tane and Mr. Vijiru with appreciative acclamation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With this, we come towards the end of today's session. Before we conclude, may I request Mr. Pachesia to present a memento to Her Excellency Mrs. Daniela Mariana Sessanov Tane, the Ambassador of Romania in India. It's a memento of Goddess Durga. The goddess of power. We have a memento for Mr. Yunus Viziru, the Minister Counselor, Economic and Trade Office, Embassy of Romania in India. Thank you, honored guests. With this, we conclude today's special session. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us for high tea.